by talking about the changes to the E-Class's design. So the front is different than before. So this is the new front. Here's a look at the old front. Now, personally, I much prefer this new look, but let me know what you think about it. Obviously, it changes the amount of chrome and the deepness of the bumpers depending on which version you have. This is the AMG line, so it's the sportier one. The AMG line version also gets these new ridges in the bonnet to make it look more aggressive. Now, Mercedes calls these power domes, or should that be power domes? All cars get LED headlights as standard now, which is good. As you move down the side, it's the same as the previous generation E-Class, which is no bad thing. It's an elegant looking car with nice chromy trim about the place. Alloy wheel sizes, well, these are on the 18s, but obviously you're going to be able to get larger if you want to make it look even more special. Round the back, you've got some new tail lights and they go into the boot like on the A-Class as well. Other than that, it's pretty similar to before really, which means there's still these stupid fake exhausts, which is bizarre because this car is the 450, which means it's got a straight 6 petrol engine, which actually sounds really good, and so it should have real exhausts. Anyway, don't get me started on that. Let's move on to the boot. So this car's got an electric tailgate, which is a bit unnecessary on a saloon. The opening for this boot is actually fairly wide and the capacity is class leading at 540 litres, so it's slightly bigger than an A6's and a BMW 5 Series boot. But you can just about squeeze a bit more in the A6's boot because it's a slightly squarer, more useful shape. Now, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the A6, click on the pop-out banner up there. But to be fair, you can still fit loads in the E-Class's boot, and it's got some useful features as well. The load lip for a saloon is really not very big, look. My poor back. And then you've got things like hooks to hang your shopping off, so maybe look, I can hang my poor back off this. Now it's covered in dust. You've got tethering points, got net there. What I can't find though is a 12-volt socket. Let's move this out of the way because I want to show you this. You can lift up this load cover here and you have this handle. I mean, it is the most flimsy, cheap feeling handle ever. I mean, it's not really becoming of a Mercedes, but it is useful because you can just hook that over there, then it gives you access to this space here. In fact, I can put my poor, sorry, dust cover bag in there. And as with other Mercedes, you get collapsible crate. Yay for the crate. You can fold down the rear seats. This one's got the folding seats. There we go. I'm just going to have to go in here. Look, see, and you can fit items through there. You can actually fit push bikes in here because there is enough space to load through there. The boot, it's fairly decent, isn't it? Now let's check out the back seat, see what it's like for carrying passengers, because these cars are often used for taxis. All right, I'll just put these up. Up. So this seat is in my usual driving position, and as you can see, lots of room. Knee room's good. Headroom, that's good too. I mean, it is slightly less with this glass roof. If you don't have it, there's even more headroom, but no one's really going to complain. If you're over 6 foot, you'll be fine in the back of this car. There is one thing to just point out though, and it's the fact that these front seats do sit quite low, so you can't really put your feet underneath them to really stretch out. And overall, I think a BMW 5 Series is just a little bit more roomy in the back. Now we're talking like that much difference, so it's not going to matter too much. You're going to be perfectly fine really in this E-Class. And there's some nice features. Obviously you've got your armrest there, and I do like the pop out cup holders. Actually, let me just show you properly there. Look, gripping your cup. Some storage under here. There's decent sized door bins. I do like the airplane style folders on the seat backs. You also have a little fold down bit here with your USB-C inputs there and an old-fashioned 12-volt socket, and then there's the controls here for the climate in the back. You've got ISOFIX anchor points here on the back seats. They're quite easy to get to once you remove the covers, but I don't like these removable covers because you often lose them or you snap them when you're putting them back in. But once you've got them removed, it's very easy to fit a child seat in the back of this car, even those bulky rear facing seats. If you are playing taxi, then you can carry 3 adults in the back of here. This big transmission tunnel, it does get in the way of your feet. That is a bit of a problem. And the middle seat is quite narrow and hard, but it's doable. Once again though, it's not the best car in its class for that, but yet again, small differences. Now, if you want to see which car is the best for backseat passengers, click on my pop-out banner up there to watch my group test video between this car, well, the previous generation version, and its key rivals, because really, I mean, nothing has changed in the backseat, so you'll be able to get that information from there. Now, let's check out what has changed in the front because there are some key updates which I'll tell you about now. You'll see that Mercedes has given this car a new steering wheel. Oh yeah. We may be in the UK, but this is actually a German car. Reason being, because of COVID-19, we can't fly abroad to test the cars in Germany. So they've sent them over to us so we can review them here in the UK. Let's start again. That's better, on the right side now. So like I was saying, you've got new steering wheels in the E-Class. This is the entry-level steering wheel. Whereas this being the AMG line, you get this sporty steering wheel with these split spokes here. And I like the look of it and the feel of it in isolation, though I'm not entirely sure it works with the E-Class's interior design or the whole feeling of what an E-Class actually is. Another thing that's new in this car is the infotainment system. You used to get small screens and stuff like that in the UK and normal analog dials, whereas now it's fully digital and you get the biggest 12-inch screens as standard in the UK, whereas in other markets you don't. They start off with like 10 inches, so yay, go the UK. And you get Mercedes' new MBX infotainment system, which you get on things like the E-Class and all their very latest cars, which means that the controller is slightly different than before. It used to be this weird kind of awkward thing to control, whereas now it's just a simple touchpad, is much more user-friendly. You've got voice command, so you just go, hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
I'm cold.
This function is not available. Switch on the ignition, please.
And do you know what? I never get these things right when I'm doing these demonstrations of the infotainment system. When it's your car and you get used to it and you know what you got to do, it is fairly decent. The actual infotainment system itself is brilliant. I love it. I generally use the touchscreen, to tell you the truth, because it's quite easy to just swipe through, and then there's so many different functions you can control. And it's quite logical as well. You can actually control it using these buttons on the steering wheel if you want to, but the angle of them is a bit odd. It sort of gives me repetitive strain injury. Now you've got the second screen here. You can control that one using this controller here, and you can change through lots of different views, get lots of different information. You can have your satellite navigation in there as well. You can also have directions for the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. They won't do the full mapping, though you do have the full mapping for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on this screen if you want it. I do like this system. It's really, really good. I don't think it's the best system in the world anymore, because I've encountered a new infotainment system which I think is just so good and so simple. And if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can see what it is and which car it's on. Not going to give any more away, but overall really nice. And I like the fact that in the past you used to have this plastic panel between the two screens, whereas now it's all under one piece of glass, so it looks super expensive and luxurious, and that does fit with the rest of the E-Class's interior. I do like the way you've still got physical buttons for the climate control and some shortcut buttons here, which most manufacturers are now doing away with. This design hasn't aged. It still looks very modern. They have tweaked it slightly in the way that you can get some different trim colours. And while this is fake leather, and you used to get fake leather on the entry-level E-Class in the UK, you now get leather on all models. So if you're a vegan, you might not like that. And you can get it with new seats, and the seats are really nice. In fact, it's easy to get a really good driving position in this car. Now, I went to adjust the seat position down here because I've been driving some other cars recently, but Mercedes actually has the seating controls in the right position. That is so much easier to get to. Also, of course, being a Mercedes, you don't have to unlatch the steering wheel. You move it electrically, and it is nice and comfy. And of course, they do this thing as well. There's a gear selector. Why have it there? Why not just on the steering wheel? That is the place to put it. Mercedes has got that right. Have they got the storage right in this car though? Well, I'll just take my water bottle. You can see it fits in there. And if you need to carry bigger things, look, they will just about fit in the front door bins as well. Under here, you've got some more storage, and you've got two USB inputs, and I like the fact that, look, you can have your thing open there on one side like that, so you can have your cables trailing if you want to, and you can still rest your arm on it. That's good. Underneath here, you've got some cup holders. They're not that deep, so they're not really great for bottles, but they're fine for coffee cups. And there's a wireless charging pad in there too. And you've got another input there, USB-C, and a 12-volt socket. So everything in this car now is USB-C, so you might need some adapters, but you can get them. Look, bloody wires. Glove box, decent size. And I think that's all you need to know about the interior practicality. Let's move on to the engines, because Mercedes has updated this car's engine range. Let me just pop the bonnet if I can find it. There we go. This particular car is the 450, and it's got a new straight six 3-litre turbo petrol engine with 367 horsepower. Oh yeah. You can also get another new engine. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder with 184 horsepower. Not so sure about that one. Now both these new engines have mild hybrid technology, so you've got a little motor in the engine which can recoup energy under braking and then use it to give you a little bit of a boost when you put your foot down. You can also get 2-litre diesel, 3-litre diesel of this car, plug-in hybrid, diesel and petrol, and of course hot AMG versions of 53 and even high performance 63. Now for more detail on all the engine specs, click on the pop-out banner up there to go to CarWow. You can also then build your ideal E-Class using the CarWow configurator, and then you can see how much money we can save you on one of these cars through our trusted dealers.
Now then, it's time for the CarWow 5 annoying things about this car.
Quality inside this cabin is generally really good, but there are a few bits of trim that Mercedes has really cheaped out on, and annoyingly they're things that you're going to touch quite a lot, such as that bit in there and the lock buttons, this bit here, and the opener for the glove box. I don't know why they've done that. It all just sort of lets the side down for very little cost saving, surely. The new E-Class is available with a nice heads-up display, which is handy if you don't want to take your eyes off the road, and double glazing acoustic windows to help make it even more quiet in the cabin. Unfortunately, for some reason, you can't get those two features in the UK. Thank you very much for that, Mercedes-Benz UK. If you've got massage seats fitted, you have to control them through the touchscreen. There's no physical button to start them like there are in some other cars, and that's a bit annoying because the actual program on the massage seats doesn't last that long, so you then have to go through the touchscreen and start them up again, and it's especially annoying if you're in Android Auto, because then you have to come out of that, find the thing for the seats, go into that, set it off again, go back and enter Android Auto, and if you're using the navigation without voice commands, you might have missed your turn while you're doing all that. If you like pulling things behind your car, you're probably going to want the electrically deployable tow hitch. Unfortunately, you can only get it on estate versions of the E-Class with diesel engines. The light for the vanity mirror, look, it shines down. Really, you want it round the mirror, a bit like in a dressing room, and some cars, especially at this price point, have that feature. Fail.
Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the CarWow 5 cool features.
The new E-Class has super clever seats, so you can input your height and it'll actually move the steering wheel and the seat to the ideal driving position for your height, and then you can just fine tune it from there. It also gets something called seat kinetics, and what that does is constantly move the electric seats every now and again to keep your body active so it doesn't get so tired on longer journeys. The new E-Class is available with something called Urban Guard, and what that does is let you know via a mobile phone app if someone is trying to tow your car away or break into it. It can even tell you if someone has bumped your car, maybe when they're trying to park their car, and it will tell you the exact location of the bump, so if you're nearby you can run out and have a jolly good shout at them, unless of course they're bigger than you, in which case you can just stay wherever you are and just get really cross about it silently. The car has something called Energising Coach. So what that will do is try and make you feel as relaxed or as energised as possible. And it runs various programs through the car's system. So it can do things like alter the temperature from the ventilation system. It can pipe some fragrance into the cabin. This one's called Freeside Mood. If you've got the massage seats, it will incorporate those as well. And it will alter the temperature, of course, and play different kinds of music through the stereo to make sure that you're feeling as relaxed or as energised as possible. Now it can even link up to Garmin wearable devices, so you can see how stressed you are, and it will pick the right program depending on your current state. The E-Class now gets Mercedes-Benz excellent augmented reality satellite navigation. So what that does is use a live camera feed of the road ahead, displays it on the screen, and then it superimposes graphical directions over it so you don't make a wrong turn. Also, the system can tell what the traffic lights are doing. It can tell if they're red, amber or green. And if you're at the front of traffic, it will display it on the screen. And that's really handy if you're at those traffic lights where they're positioned really badly and you can't see them from your car. So you know when they're changed so you can get going. Isn't it really annoying when you're trying to lower the rear seat backs to carry longer items, only for someone to have left the front seats like this? You have to go around and sort all that out, but not on this E-Class, because look what happens when I try to fold down the back seats. I'm just going to release them. Check it out, right, look at that. It's automatically moving out of the way. Thank you very much, Mercedes. Okay, let's see how quick this car is. My specialist timing gear here, got the car in dynamic mode, just hold it on the brake for the throttle and see what happens. It's got 4-wheel drive. Sounds pretty nice as well, and that's a 60. The time is 4.88 seconds. It's very quick. Not even the AMG model Let's see what this E-Class is like to drive when you're in town. So the first thing to note is the suspension. I am finding all the potholes on this road on purpose because the E-Class is notorious for being great over bumps, and this new one is no different. Now it gets adaptive suspension with a comfort mode, which softens things off. Oh, that over a speed hump is amazing. You hardly know it's there. Now it's big. You might think you're going to struggle down narrow roads, but it's not as bad as you think. All-round visibility is pretty good. Even the back window is big. This 9-speed automatic gearbox is just super smooth. Really, really is. You don't even notice it changing gear. And the brakes, when you need them, they're sharp, but they're not too grabby. Obviously, there's the issue of trying to park a big car like this. So I'm going to see if I can squeeze into this gap. I've got my all-round cameras and sensors to help me out. And the light steering just makes it easy to do these manoeuvres. Looks like I'm going to put it in here, no problem at all. There we go. Surround view cameras are a real bonus. Let's try this car out on some faster roads. When you get out on the open road, this car responds. I'm going to floor it, just doing 40. Oh, change gear pretty quickly. You can just boot past other people. Really, really responsive gearbox. Little bit of boost you get from the electric motor just helps smooth things out, and when you back off the accelerator or brake, you then have it recouping energy and putting it back into the battery for the next time you need a little bit of a boost. This new E-Class comes with Mercedes' very latest version of their adaptive satellite navigation, so I'm just going to put it on by pressing the button, and it's going to use a radar to keep me a safe distance from the car in front. If you try and take your hands off, it will know that you're doing that. You used to be able to like trick them by wedging a weight in the steering wheel. It thought you were like applying resistance, whereas this one doesn't use that system. It actually uses the same technology as in your mobile phone screen, and it can tell if you're just even touching the wheel slightly. That way you can't fox it, and if you go too long without steering, it's going to get cross and tell you off. You can quite easily just set your speed as to what the road is. It's automatically slowing for this roundabout, and I've got my augmented reality sat nav there doing its job, making sure I don't make a wrong turn. And that's what the Mercedes E-Class is all about, making your life as a driver relaxing. This thing is a very, very quiet car to travel in. I mean, it's helped out this particular one because it's German, it's got the double glazing, which we don't get, which is a shame. And the seats are nice and supportive, so when you get to your destination, you should feel suitably unstressed. Finally, let's see what this E-Class is like on a twisty road. So I'm going to put it into sports mode. In fact, let's go for Sports Plus. So that's added some weight to the steering, sharpened the throttle response, made the gearbox a little bit more aggressive. It's also stiffened up the suspension to stop it leaning so much in the bends. It doesn't worry too much about corners, it just sort of grips and goes round. Obviously, if you've got the four-wheel drive system, you've got even more grip, so nothing to worry about. It's not a sports car, it's not going to make you kind of like, whoa, this is amazing fun. But actually, it's pretty well balanced, and it can keep up with a hot hatch on a twisted road, and that will really annoy the driver of the hot hatch. You know, they're probably a hooligan. They're like, why is that big taxi behind me? And I can't shake him. And if you do get a bit too carried away and, whee, there we go, get too close to the car in front, then you've got the safety systems to help you out. It'll auto brake it so you don't smash into the back of someone. The ultimate test, of course, as to how well this car handles corners is to see how quickly you can go round a roundabout. This is a little bit childish. Let's see if we can go a bit faster. Oh, getting a bit of squeal from the tyres as they're complaining about dealing with all this weight. But it's doing a great job. This is the kind of car that can pretty much tick every driving box. It does a good